What's great about effective delegation is that it gives you time back to actually think about the bigger picture of your business. It gives you that time back to actually make those considerations, make those decisions around what you want to do, because you're not sitting there doing all the things that you don't want to be doing that but you could be paying someone else to do. Welcome to the Process to Profit podcast, where I dig into the key strategies that build successful service-based businesses. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to scale, I'll share practical techniques to help you overcome overwhelm, boost your income, and fall in love with your business again. Let's get your business working for you. Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode. Today we're going to be talking about how to decide what to delegate first. I hear from a lot of my clients and other entrepreneurs that they really want help in their business. They want to be able to delegate off some of the work that they don't enjoy doing or work that they don't have time to do, but they're just not sure how to actually do it or what it is that they should be giving to other people to do. So today we're going to be talking about how you figure out what that is. And I will preface this by saying I'm not going to give you the answer. And what I mean by that is it's different for everyone. So I'm going to help you figure out what you should delegate first, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what that is because it's different in every business. It's different for every person. But I'm going to give you some ideas and frameworks to help you figure out what that actually is. And what I mean by that is what you should actually be delegating first in your business. So first, let's talk about why you should be delegating things in your business. Even if you are new to entrepreneurship, you're fairly new in business, it's really important that you understand the value of having someone else work with you in your business and being able to delegate some of that work. In 2022, a survey by Capital One found that 42% of small business owners had reported being burnt out in the last month. 42%, that's almost half of business owners have reported being burnt out in the month before they took the survey. That is a lot of people. And that was back in 2022. So it was before even sort of the economy, got a little less favorable towards small business owners and a little bit more tense. So even back in 2022, I can only imagine what the numbers are now. In 2024, people were already feeling that burnt out. And 24% of people who took the survey said they were currently experiencing burnout. So entrepreneurs are really overwhelmed. They're really doing all the things, they're wearing all the hats, and it's really wearing on them. So it's important that you understand that you can delegate and that you should be delegating in your business. I delegate. I have a VA. I have one that helps me with lead generation. He does a lot of sort of my outreach on Instagram. He does my research on Facebook for people that I can reach out to. So he does a lot of sort of that research and legwork for me, and then I review it and then do the actual reach out. But he spends hours every week doing that for me that I just don't have time to actually do. So I was realizing when I first started that to build a business, you have to do a lot of networking. You have to do a lot of reaching out to other people who already have audiences that you could potentially talk to, people that you could learn from, people that you can work with. And it takes a lot of outreach to even get responses. And I was realizing that I wasn't having a lot of success with it because it wasn't where I was spending my time. It wasn't where I was spending my focus. I didn't like sitting down and surfing Facebook for hours and trying to find people to reach out to. I wasn't enjoying, finding people on Instagram. It just wasn't things that I enjoyed doing, and so I avoided doing it, and so it really stagnated the growth in my business. So what I did was I actually found a VA that helps me now find and do all of that research for me. He does research on LinkedIn, he does research on Facebook and Instagram for me, compiles it all into a spreadsheet, and then I review it and do the actual outreach. And it's really helped me grow my business. It's helped me find really amazing people to work with and learn from. And I never would have found a lot of those people if I hadn't hired him and delegated out that work to him. And so I realized, hey, this is something I don't enjoy doing. It's something I'm not good at, and I don't want to spend the time doing it. I understand the value in it, but I don't want to spend my time doing it. And so I found someone that I was able to pay to do it for me so I don't have to sit and do it. If you aren't delegating in your business as an entrepreneur, you could be missing out on a lot of things because you're spending so much time on these things that maybe you don't have to be spending your time on. You could be missing out on opportunities. You could be impacting your mental and physical health because you're just stressed and overwhelmed and burnt out like those other 42% of entrepreneurs. You're really sort of burning the candle at both ends because you feel like you have to do all of the things in your business. And you may also be stunting your business growth like I was. I wasn't networking at the beginning, so I wasn't growing as fast as I potentially could have been. So by hiring out things that I didn't want to do, delegating those things, I was able to grow my business faster. And so if you're not doing those things, then you may be missing out on opportunities to grow your business. What's great about effective delegation is that it gives you time back to actually think about the bigger picture of your business. You can make some more strategic decisions. You can think about different programs you want to offer. You can figure out, different people that you want to partner with, or maybe you want to go after a different niche. And it gives you that time back to actually make those considerations, make those decisions around what you want to do, because you're not sitting there doing all the things that you don't want to be doing that but you could be paying someone else to do. It also helps you improve your work-life balance because you're spending less time working on your business in theory, and you're able to spend more time, on your life outside of your business. As long as you're not filling those hours that you're delegating with more work, it can help you really regain that equilibrium between balance and it can help you regain that equilibrium between work and the rest of your life. It's also a really good option if you decide that you want to scale your business. Now, I know not everyone wants to scale, and that's fine, but even if you don't want to scale, delegation can help you take that step back from your business, spend less time working in your business because you have a team or a person that you can trust to run your business for you or do specific tasks for you in your business. And it can help you either scale, like I said, or take that step back, maybe work 20 hours a week instead of 30 or 40 because someone else is picking up the slack for you. One of my clients, Sylvia, who helps people get Italian citizenship through descent, was one of those 42% facing burnout. Well, probably not because she lives in Italy, so she probably wasn't asked in that particular survey. But she was really stuck in her business. She was doing all of the things. She didn't have any administrative help. She was working directly with clients. She was talking to prospective clients. She was working directly with the towns for her clients that she already had. She was flying all around Italy because she was working with clients all over the country, and then also booking all of that travel for herself. Like, she was doing all of the things in her business, and her business was fairly successful already at that point. But she didn't really understand how to delegate. She didn't understand what she could pass off to someone else. She didn't have systems in place to help them succeed in her business, to help them understand what her processes were. So she was really stuck in that burnout and wanted to build her business, but didn't really know how to bring someone on and figure out what it was that they could actually do for her. So we were able to work together to figure out what are all the processes in her business, and then what are the processes that she could potentially bring someone in to help her with. For example, following up with existing clients. She doesn't necessarily have to do every interaction with her clients. She could have an admin do some of the follow-up with them, for example, chasing down paperwork or chasing down payments, things like that. She could actually have an admin do those things inside her business. She could also have them do things like file all the paperwork necessarily with the Italian government for running her business. Not necessarily the citizenship paperwork for her clients, but all of the other stuff that the Italian government requires for running a business. It's very bureaucracy heavy in Italy, let me just say that. So she could have someone do those things for her in her business. So we sat down, figured out what all those were, implemented processes and systems within her business, and then she was able to actually hire a full-time, believe it or not, full-time admin in her business to do all of those things that she didn't want to be spending her time doing. And now she has more time to meet with the clients. She has more time to talk to the towns that she's working with. She has more time to really focus on the people outside of her business that she's working with, as opposed to all of the bureaucracy inside of her business, the paperwork, things like that. So she's actually growing her business. She's been able to add a whole bunch more clients because now she has the bandwidth to actually be able to take them on, all through our work together. So let's talk about how we actually get started delegating work to other people. And the biggest thing that people run into is that they don't know where to start. They don't know how they should, decide what it is that they should delegate. They don't have systems set up to delegate. They are afraid of letting go of their work. Their work is their baby. Their business is their baby, which I totally understand. They're afraid that no one else can do the job as well as they can. And I'm here to dispel all of that. We have systems and solutions to mitigate a lot of these things. And the reality is, no one will care about your business as much as you do. However, you can find people that care, and you can find people that want to do a good job, and people that are good at their jobs, and people that specialize in things that maybe you're doing but you're not great at. So by figuring out what those things are, that will help you get started in figuring out what you should be delegating. So the first step in figuring out or deciding what it is that you should be delegating is to do a time audit. And I have a free resource on my website, laurenglenn.com/resources, which is 7 days to streamline your business. And it walks you through this whole process of a time audit. And what it basically is you sit down every week. No, you sit down every day for a week, not every week. You sit down every day for at least a week, and you write out all of the processes, all of the steps that you've taken in your business for that day. And then you want to make sure you're categorizing those tasks. So things that are administrative, creative, strategic, etc. And that free resource has all those categories in there for you to make sure you're keeping track. And how much time each task took so that you understand where your time is actually going and to which type of tasks your time is going. Then you want to sit down and do a value assessment of all of those tasks. You want to identify what are the things that only you can do, which tasks really require your expertise, your physical presence. Like, I can't hire someone to host my podcast for me because that would defeat the purpose of having a podcast. Because I want to get my message out there, what physically requires you to be involved. And I want you to be really clear on this, because things like posting to social media, you might think, oh, it has to be me because no one else knows what it is that I want to say. But in a situation like that, you could help the person who you're potentially delegating it to understand what you want to say, and they could maybe say it better. Or they could say it in a different way, or they could say, well, what if we had this graphic instead of this picture? You want to make sure that you're being really clear with yourself about what actually requires your specific knowledge and what are things that you could potentially teach someone else to do with information about you and about your business. Then the next step is to identify what the low-hanging fruit is. And what I mean by that is, what are repetitive, time-consuming tasks that don't require your specific skills or expertise? For example, scheduling your social media posts. Like, maybe you want to still write the social media posts, but someone else could schedule them, or someone else could create the graphics to go along with your social media. Or you could hire someone to follow up with clients. That one's a little bit trickier because I know that you're going to want your specific voice when you're following up with clients. Or you could do like my example, which is lead generation. My VA goes in and does all the lead generation. I've given him very specific guidelines, but I don't have to be the one to go and find people to collaborate and work with. He can find those people based on the guidelines that I gave him and the feedback that I gave him, and it doesn't have to be me. So figure out what those things are for your business based on your time audit. And I do want to take a second to let you know that I am actually going to be doing a whole series of episodes all about how to find, hire, train a VA in your business. It's going to be 6 or 7, I think, full episodes, all about the steps, all of the different steps in the process of onboarding a VA in your business. So that will be coming in a few weeks. So if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed so you get notified when those new episodes drop. Because I get a lot of questions around, how do I find one? Where do I look? What are the, different things that I can have them do? So I've done a whole series. Well, I haven't recorded it yet, but I will do a whole series all about how to find, hire, onboard, train a VA in your business. So let's talk a little bit more about how you figure out what to delegate. So the next step is to do a systems check. And what I mean by that is figure out what systems you already have and what systems you don't have and would need to have in place in order to have someone else in your business. And what I mean by that is things like, for Sylvia, what are the processes for filing the paperwork with the Italian government? What are the processes for following up with potential leads and clients? What are, all of the processes that a client has to go through to onboard? Things like that. Make sure that you understand which ones you have in place and which ones, depending on the person that you end up delegating to, would have to have in place before they could start working in your business. And then the final step that I would recommend is that you start small. Figure out one small piece or one small task that you can delegate and try it out. Figure out, maybe it's posting to social media. That can be a really small task. If you have a scheduler like I use Buffer, I could hire someone after I write all the social media posts to just go in and post it all to Buffer and schedule it for me. That would be a really small task and a really good way to sort of dip your toe in the idea of delegation, and wouldn't require anything strategic from the VA that I'm hiring. It wouldn't require any specific knowledge about my business because the schedule is already set up in Buffer and all the logins are already in there. So all they have to do is log in and then use any content that I gave them to schedule. That would be a really good example of something small that you can try out with someone that you can delegate to. And then one clarification I do want to add is make sure when you hire someone or when you start delegating, that you are really open to their feedback. You're open to them coming back to you and saying, this process isn't really working, or I have a better idea for a way that this process could work. Make it a two-way communication, because especially if you're hiring an expert or someone who's more experienced than you, they may have better ideas. They may have better ways. Maybe Buffer isn't the right fit for you. Maybe you should switch to Later or Metricool or some other scheduler. Maybe they have a preference. I don't know. But be really open to that and make sure that they know that you're open to that conversation. And then also make sure that they understand that you're open to the conversation of their responsibilities growing. Like maybe they get really good at scheduling for Instagram, so you add in also scheduling for LinkedIn. Or maybe you start adding in content creation to go along with the scheduling, whatever makes sense. So make sure that that communication is open between you and the person that you're delegating to, and that they know that you were there for them. So reminder, laurenglenn.com/resources to get your 7 days to streamline your business. It will walk you through a lot of the steps that we talked through today, like your task audit and things like that. And keep an eye out for my How to Hire a VA series that's coming in a couple weeks. It'll be, like I said, 6 or 7 episodes that go all the way through the process of figuring out what you want your VA to work on, how to find your VA, how to actually hire them, like what the interview process looks like, and then how you actually pay them and how you keep working with them sort of long term. How do you continue to delegate to them? How do you continue to build your skills? And how do you fire them when the time comes if for some reason you do end up having to fire them? So all of those things will be in that series, and keep an eye out for that. Like I said, it's coming in, I think, 2 or 3 weeks after this one posts. So keep an eye out for that. Subscribe. And if you got value from this, please give me a review. I really appreciate it. I read every single one, and it really helps small shows like mine get found by more people like you who can benefit from it. So before we wrap up, here's your one action item for the week. If you just need one little bite-sized thing to work on, if the whole thing was a little too overwhelming for you, I want you to choose one task that you can delegate this week. Ideally, you're doing all of that sort of prep work, but if that's overwhelming, just pick one thing that you already know of that you can delegate. You don't have to go through the process of delegating it if you're not quite ready yet, but choose one task that you want to be able to delegate and then start doing the groundwork to prepare yourself. So start putting in the systems, start documenting your operating practices, your SOPs. Make sure that you are working towards being able to delegate that one task once you are in a place that you can actually do so. After you listen to my Hire a VA series, so you can learn how to find someone to actually do it. Thank you so much for listening and watching today. I really appreciate it. Remember, your systems are the backbone of your success. I'm Lauren Glenn, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye!